This indicator right over here is going to predict the next Bitcoin bull run with almost 100% accuracy. This chart is going to blow you away so much that if you don't hold Bitcoin right now, well, that's going to be the worst mistake that you have currently in your life, because holy moly, the Bitcoin price is setting up for a significant rally. And I'm not even kidding. So I've been inside this space here for many years now. I've experienced here about 3 cycles here in total. This is going to be my 4th cycle over here. And I'm going to tell you guys, something that we see keep playing over and over again is that when the dollar index, when the value of the dollar declines, we generally see the Bitcoin price go absolutely nuts, and especially after a halving. So we can actually see, of course, is we have these halvings that actually play out every 4 years. We had it here back in 2020, big mover to the upside. We got it also, of course, over here this year. And we got it over here back in 2016, and we saw this big move to the upside. And this, the general theory is that after halving, you see a big move to the upside. But this chart over here is actually kind of saying something completely different, and that is that actually the dollar strength index is actually what really moves the Bitcoin price. And we can actually see this is that when we had here the Bitcoin price here back in 2017, over here moving here to the upside, over here this green space, you can actually see this exactly collided here with the dollar index over here topping out and moving to the downside. And we also pretty much exactly topped out when the dollar index again hit rock bottom. Same thing over here happened back in 2020, where we can actually see over here this big correction to the downside on the dollar index, and then this big trend to the upside over here for Bitcoin. And we can see exactly the same thing. We can actually see here that when the dollar index over here hit the rock bottom, the same pretty much happened here for the Bitcoin price, where it over here topped out. So now again, we are seeing a massive correction here to the downside on the dollar index. And this is all, of course, because of the new president. He wants to lower the value of the dollar in order to stimulate exports from the country, of course, the United States. It's very hard if you have a very strong currency. It's very hard to export because it's way easier to build things in other cheaper countries like Vietnam, India, China, whatever. So the current president wants, of course, to lower the value of the dollar. And this is the reason why people are selling off the dollar here. And that's why we're seeing that the Bitcoin price is probably going to follow it and have this big move to the upside. And currently, the dollar index has been moving here to the downside, and so far the Bitcoin hasn't even reacted to this. And quite similar to what we did over here back, for example, in 2020, 2017, if we probably would have seen a significant move if we did something similar to 2020 and 2017, but it's completely fine. I mean, we can wait a little bit. There can be a little bit of a delay here, but this thing is looking absolutely juicy. We can also see here very beautiful recovery here to the upside, a little bit of a double bottom pattern here as well. So I am predicting currently that the Bitcoin price is going to move over here to the upside. I am going to be looking here to long Bitcoin as well, because this thing is looking juicy. We also have this nice trend line here breaking to the downside. Of course, we've been holding Bitcoin for a very long time, but especially now, I am absolutely excited. We can also look here at the Bitcoin dominance. We can actually see the Bitcoin dominance had a huge move to the upside. This is exactly what we want to see, because the last time that the Bitcoin dominance over here had a big correction here to the downside, we exactly saw over here the top for Bitcoin. And this was a top here for the crypto space. After that, it was pretty much downwards. And we can see the same thing in 2017 when the Bitcoin dominance had this big correction to the downside. This coincided right over here exactly with the top here at 20,000 US dollars. So if we currently see the Bitcoin dominance move to the upside, that means we still have power left for Bitcoin to go higher. Now, if we see the Bitcoin dominance here, a big correction to the downside, probably means the top, just as what we saw back here in 2021. But as long as the Bitcoin dominance just keeps holding and going stronger and stronger, I also expect the Bitcoin price to continue to move here to the upside. And something also great is that this is from the Federal Reserve, is that they're currently saying that they have tools to provide more liquidity, basically printing money. And as they did back in 2020, when they started to print money to provide liquidity for the market, the Bitcoin price went from 4K all the way up to 70,000 US dollars. So when the Federal Reserve talks about printing money, and especially looking at the chart right currently at how it's looking right now, together with the dollar index, together with the Bitcoin dominance, we also had the halving. These things together can, of course, push the Bitcoin price up way beyond 100,000 US dollar. And we also should not forget, we currently have the Bitcoin strategic reserve. And that's what the next tweet here is about. And you can see Senator Loomis is saying that the US might be buying 1 million Bitcoin. And actually, I think the president also endorses Loomis as a senator. And of course, they have had dinners together. They've talked, of course, in the past about a Bitcoin strategic reserve. So she knows probably quite a little bit of things here. And she's hinting that currently without passing a bill, we can actually buy Bitcoin. It actually can be done by the Treasury itself and doesn't actually need permission from Congress. So this is very, very interesting. But if the government starts buying Bitcoin, together with the dollar index moving to the downside, together with the halving, I mean, this thing is going to absolutely fly to the upside. And you realize, if you saw how much the president moved the markets in the last couple of days and weeks. I mean, that's trillions of dollars. Why can a Bitcoin price not go and double in value? I mean, Bitcoin is still very, very small. Also, here, up an update here from David Belly here back in 2025. We're going to see David Sachs here as well talk here on the Bitcoin conference here at the White House AI. Well, he's the White House AI and crypto czar, and he's going to be speaking here in May 27, 29 here at the next Bitcoin conference. So things are looking very, very juicy for Bitcoin, and I understand, guys, we're going to have to be a little bit patient, but I'm expecting Bitcoin price to move it to the upside. So I'm of course all in here to Bitcoin. Looking too long, hopefully can update you guys here in the next video about that, but I hope to see you guys, of course, in my next video. Bye bye.